Hi everyone, my name is Feng Yu, and today I'll be talking about my topic in the Module 2 debate assignment, euthanasia. The term euthanasia is more of a general name. There are actually 4 different kinds of the practice. Based on the way how medical staff help the patient to relieve the suffering, it is called different. It is important to know the difference because some might use loopholes in the practice to avoid legal issues. First one is called active euthanasia. It is when doctors end the patient's life by providing a lethal substance to the patient with merciful intent. Second is called passive euthanasia. It is when withholding or withdrawing of life-sustaining treatment either at the request of the patient or when prolonging life is considered futile. Third one, indirect euthanasia. It refers to the prescription of painkillers that may be fatal in an attempt. The fourth one, it got a more direct name. It is called physician-assisted suicide. It refers to a medical professional aiding the patient in terminating their life based on the patient's request. As of this moment, there are very few countries in the world that have legalized euthanasia under very specific conditions and regulations. For example, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, and also a few other states in the United States of America are also on the list. In order to fully understand the debate, we have to know fully about the debate that people have on suicide. And that could be traced all the way back to the beginning of human civilization. Throughout thousands of years of human history, many great philosophers and religious thinkers have addressed the ethics of suicide. In some Asian cultures like the Vikings, the violent death in battle was considered to be an honor, and the second best was suicide as an alternative. In ancient Greeks, the word euthanasia in Greek simply means good death, instead of helping others to end their life with goodwill. And similar to Vikings, this is the reason in ancient Greece euthanasia was not practiced. Interestingly, Asian philosophers had a similar debate thousands of years ago. Plato believed that there are exceptional circumstances where suicide is acceptable, and that is if one had an immoral or incorrectable character or had committed a disgraceful action. Aristotle, on the other hand, believed that suicide was unjust under all circumstances. He also thought that the practice was a violation of the responsibilities of citizenship. It is not until recent times that the topic's being brought up by people. In an autobiography of a French surgeon named Ambroise Paré, mentioned the story of a time when he was trying to save 3 deeply wounded soldiers, and uninjured soldiers asked the surgeon if they would live. After Paré indicated that there was none, the uninjured soldier calmly proceeded to cut their throats with a knife to end their pain. This topic is important because it is being brought up more often recently, and back in 2009, Francine Lanaud, a member of Parliament in Quebec of Canada, introduced Bill C-384, in which she believes that it is time for the Parliament to find a way to decriminalize medical assistance in dying, because she believed that it is important to the ones who are suffering, and there is no other way to relieve them except with the ultimate method of euthanasia. The argument of euthanasia is mostly based on the moral and ethical part, and some of the arguments firmly believe that the public's opinion on physicians should only be healers, other than focusing on the patient decisions. When healing is no longer possible, when healing is no longer possible, when death is a certain fact that is counted by the minute, or patients find their suffering unbearable, then the physician's role should switch from healers to relieving suffering in agreeing with the patient's wishes on ending their lives. But still, many people believe that all of the medical staff should have not complied with the request to help or assist a patient to die. This also led to another minor debate on the violation of the Hippocratic Oath, in which it clearly states that I will neither give a deadly drug to anybody if asked for it, nor will I make a suggestion to this effect. It is still common sense to many people today that patients near the end of their life could express fear out of losing their control. In the perspective of faith and religion, many people see euthanasia as a form of murder or a violation of God's, and their practice is unacceptable. People who believe in that often view euthanasia as a way to weaken society's respect for the sanctity of life. But on the other hand, society has to take some guilt as well. Some of the patients may feel that there's too much burden on themselves, whether if they're in the area of financial, emotional, physical, or mental burdens on their family. But as for my opinions, I think euthanasia is only voluntary if the patient is mentally competent with a clear understanding of every available option and consequences explained thoroughly to them. And most importantly, patients with the ability to express that understanding and also their will to terminate their life to the outside. But of course, it is hard and not very straightforward at determining or defining competence, which is the biggest reason why this debate will continue to exist with human society and the ethic issues along the way. And there's actually a film called Me Before You, directed by Thea Sharrock. And the story was inspired by the director's own family issue where one of her relatives required a 24-hour care, and also a real-life news story about a man who convinced his parents to take him to a center for assisted suicide. And there are many news out there that fills in the same category. And I will end this presentation with a quote from the movie. Some mistakes just have greater consequences than others, but you don't have to let the results of one mistake be the thing that defines you. You, Clark, have the choice of not to let that happen. And I think it is important for all of us to better understand the topic and the debate behind it, to better participate in the issue and help the society to avoid mistakes. Thank you.